Rod was born up in Fairbanks, Alaska. We moved here when he was about 5 months old to get away from not a good part of life.
His mother had severe postpartum depression, so Rod and I were together for about the first 6 months, and we really bonded closely during that time. He's a good kid. He has a good heart, but he doesn't always know how to show it.
You know, we pretty quickly made the assessment that he had attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. He really struggled to listen and follow directions in a group setting. He struggled with social interactions. He struggled with oppositional behaviors towards authority.
When I met Rod, he was known as Hot Rod frequently because he was frequently a client who would cause a lot of issues for us, and there'd be a lot of struggle working with Rod. He was a kid full of energy, but it wasn't this anxious energy, it was more of this angry and aggressive energy. And so I wasn't sure what I was going to do when I first met Rod, when I first started working with him. My first session with Rod, I remember vividly. I remember Mom just breaking down and being in tears and not knowing what to do, not knowing where to go, and not knowing how to support him, and really just asking for that support.
Before we got to that point, Rod was pretty bad. And even after the autism diagnosis, it was still pretty bad. You know, a diagnosis is just, okay, now this behavior has a name, but that doesn't really change anything other than the fact that there's now a name for the monster. Rod broke my wrist a couple times, bruises that I would have to hide because I didn't want to explain to anybody that my 10-year-old beat me up. But every time, not only did they care about calming Rod, but about calming me.
I think we can still take just about everything back to Travis, who has taught him how to do the right thing. And he wouldn't have had that without family service and guidance.
It was a long time that we focused on mornings. Mornings were really bad for him. And eventually there was one morning that he just got up.
You would see him come in, and he would come in, as we refer to as hot, right? He'd come in hot, he'd come in mad, he'd come in upset. It would take an hour, hour and a half to get Mom out of the lobby, and then after that, another hour to get Rod calmed down to come in our building. And the Crisis Resolution Program was designed just for these situations. For Rod, who was really struggling, Mom needed that getaway, Grandma needed to get away. Rod ended up needing to get away at times too, and Rod started using it in such a productive way as the staff got to know Rod better and learned that he liked basketball, learned that he liked fishing, and he was just an outdoor kid. Anything he could do to be outside and active and doing stuff would keep him from escalating in our program.
It was a rough 3 days for me not having him. But when he came back, I could see a difference. I could already see a difference. Obviously, it's not a magic cure. It's not going to fix everything in 3 days. But there was hope.
We would sit down and have these long conversations in family therapy about what's the next step, what's the plan. That was really one of those points where we realized Rod's view of himself. And Rod had a really hard time getting there to kind of say who he was, and he just was very quiet in the session until that point. And then when he was able to realize, hey, there is a good part of me, I think it was essential to Rod's progress.
My heart used to sink whenever I'd see the school phone number pop up on my phone. I thought, what did he do now? Looking back at that now and looking at the kid he is now, it's an amazing before and after. He was a hot mess. And now he is the kindest, gentlest boy that anybody could ever meet. He would go out of his way to help anybody. You know, I don't think there's a selfish bone in his body.
You know, I think when he got into programs like ROTC and Special Olympics, he was doing things that he was proud of.
When my grandma passed in 2019, it was rough on all of us, and it was hard for him for a long time. But it was the focus of a lot of sessions for a while, and it helped Rod and me grow closer.
The hardest part for me was rebuilding that relationship with Mom and Rod. Going from where they were to where they really didn't have a relationship that was healthy to being, honestly, it's more than a parent-child relationship, they're best friends. It's monumental, the work this young man put in. And it's not me, it was Rod putting in this amazing amount of work to get to where he is now, to a young man who's 18 years old and he's making plans to move out of the house. Something that none of us thought would ever happen.
He's always wanting to help now instead of hurt. He takes good care of his Charlie dog, and Charlie takes good care of him.
I like my kid again. I love being around him. I miss him when I'm not with him. He went to camp for 3 days and he didn't have his phone. I couldn't call him. You know, I went from not even wanting to be in the same room as him to, hey buddy, what you doing? I honestly feel if it wasn't for Family Service and Guidance Center that my son would be institutionalized right now and I wouldn't have him. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it, and with the help we got from Family Service, I was able to be the mom that he deserves for him to be the amazing kid that he is. He's come so far. He's come so far.